Well, we'll start the pre-meeting for the Murray City Planning and Zoning Commission meeting of Thursday, August. And why do I'm reading the paper here. Thursday, September 17th, 2020. So on pre-meeting tonight, do I have to read the disclaimer statement again? Okay, I will. On business items, we've got approval of minutes. Everybody had a chance to look at the minutes. Is there anything really concerning or problem with anything? Okay, good. I thought they looked fine. Okay. Finding of fact, we have one, and it looked fine to me, unless there are folks that have any other comments. Okay. All right. Well, let's get into the agenda then. I don't know how you say this name. Athame Aesthetics. How would you say it, Zach?
To be honest, Jared said it, and then I realized he said it Athame, and then I realized that I actually have not actually talked to the applicant in person, so okay. I have no idea.
Well,
so
I'm going to say
Athame right to me.
It's what?
Athame seems exotic and right for me, for an aesthetics business or whatever.
You know what? I'll say that. I'll try to say that and then apologize. So that's okay. The best I can do.
That's perfect.
Okay, who will be handling this one for us tonight?
That's me. It's pretty simple. It's located at the 825 East, 4800 South. It's really straightforward. It's a really lush site, so I'm not worried about landscaping.
Yeah, it's beautiful office building.
Yeah, she'll just be doing facials and hair removal. It's just any beauty and barber services are required to get a conditional use permit. As you saw on the staff report, I think it's the least amount of conditions I think I've ever done with just.
Well, I think you had to stretch to come up with those three, to be very honest with you.
I really did. So I didn't want this conditional use permit to seem like a complete waste of paper. So I put three in there. So,
okay.
So, I mean, it's pretty straightforward. Are there any questions or anything that you guys have?
Any questions from folks?
It seems to me like this item might be an example for others. Maybe even others tonight.
Yeah. Very true. Yeah. Yeah, this is the way I would like to see businesses run in Murray in general. So hopefully we'll see more of this. Okay, well, let's move on to the next agenda item on a conditional use permit. Ace Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. And I want everybody to know that I don't have a conflict of interest in this. This has nothing to do with Ace Disposal. So
not the same.
No.
I'll be doing that one tonight.
Okay.
So Ace Plumbing, a couple of things to note about it. It's a single unit in a big long building. Parking's all along the south side. The building's on the north side with some access overhead doors and things like that. It's about 2,100 square feet for the space, just over that. There are 35 plus parking spaces there, parking areas for parking spaces. Some of them have become faded and that, but there's more than enough parking available, including 5 out front with an ADA stall. The only real condition that we wanted to impose was that there are 3 trees out front, but there should be some more shrubs, 5-gallon, 1-gallon shrubs put in to meet the standard in 1768. And then there's a couple of dumpsters that ought to be moved inside or put in an enclosure. They're just in the parking lot. It would be easy enough. A lot of these industrial units like that, they'll just move them inside one of the units, and that's fine too. So we wanted to leave that open for them. They want to put them inside, great. If not, we should put up an enclosure. There's no beat up enclosure waiting around to be repaired. There's just nothing there. So that's about all I really had on that one.
This is where Greenpoint Lawn Care used to be, right?
Oh, yeah, it is actually, yeah.
Yeah, okay. Okay, yeah, I'm familiar with the building.
Yeah.
Anybody have any, unusual concerns with that right now? I mean, again, this is a very appropriate place for something like this, I think.
Sure.
Good.
Jared, you said that parking stripes were faded. Is this a good time? I haven't seen it. So would this be a good time to address it and ask him to paint it, or is it not that severe?
It's probably not that severe. There's a good solid 17, 18, 20 of them that are still plenty visible. I wouldn't really recommend it. It's not necessary. The main thing to me was just, I don't like those dumpsters sitting out in the parking like that, right near a pretty nice office building too. It's a good moment to say, hey, fix that up. But that's about it.
Okay. Good.
Just one thing real quick, Phil. On number
Sure.
4, where it talks about having additional plant materials installed, do we need to put anything about them working with the property owner, or are they the property owner?
There is a different.
I can't remember what we decided.
They're not the property owner, so they'll have to work with the property owner to get them put in. It's a few enough number that if the landlord's not willing to do them himself, they'd probably just do them on their own if he'll let them put them in. So we've had it go both ways.
Okay.
But yeah, they're just leasing though. They're not the property owner.
Okay, so we don't need to put anything in there.
No, I don't care who puts them. From staff's perspective, I don't care who puts them in as long as they go in. Either the landlord the landlord needs to be willing to do it, or the tenants need to be willing to do it if landlord's not.
Okay. All right. Thank you.
You bet.
All right. Okay. Well, we'll go now to the major home occupation business, Amy Nicole's Aesthetics. And who will be presenting this?
I am the presenter for that, Amy Nicole's as well.
Okay.
So this is a different one, major home occupation. So it's, if I screw up and say conditional use permit, just bear with me. We don't do a whole lot of major home occupations. Just as a background to make sure everybody's on the same page, and I'll be really quick because I know we don't have a ton of time. So major home occupations don't normally come before the Planning Commission because most people that are asking for a major home occupation get the signatures from their neighbors and bypass the Planning Commission review. In this particular case, as you're undoubtedly going to hear tonight, that was not really a possibility for the applicant. The neighbors don't like her business, and I'll leave it at that. They don't like her business, and she wasn't going to be able to get their signatures, so she just asked to be reviewed by the Planning Commission. With that said, in the presentation, I'll go over some of the stuff that's in the staff report for the benefit of the neighbors that'll be listening in, I'm sure, to talk about the hours of operation, the kinds of things that we're supposed to consider as a Planning Commission for major home occupations: hours of operation, parking, making sure the parking can happen on the one spot or on the property off street, that kind of thing. But what you really want to know about this particular project is kind of where we are with it. We have 5 comments. Susan, is it 5 that's in the 5 emails from 5 different, or 5 emails from 4 neighbors? I forget, including the homeowners association president, all opposed to the business. She's been operating there for some time. She had a run-in with the code enforcement officer, told her she needed to get a license. So here she is. The homeowners association president has told me that they will not grant a business license to her, or they won't grant her permission to run a business there, but they have rules they have to follow and then vote. I want to stay, from my part, I want to stay out of that. So my recommended condition was just to say, if she can meet the standards that we would give her as a commission, and one of those standards being getting permission from the homeowners association, then great, then she can have a license, but no Murray business license would be issued until that happens.
And I think that's key. And I think that's important, that we can go about our business with this and look strictly at the merits of the application as it applies to our job.
Yep.
But the crucial thing is going to be that homeowners association approval.
Yeah, and I think it can, to that end, and just to kind of finish up the discussion, Phil, you're right on the money, and it does. She should be able to meet all of our requirements. She should be able to have people park. Her client should be able to park in her driveway. She should be able to keep that from being an issue. Based on the comments that we have received, that has not been historically the case. What you're going to hear from comments from the neighbors, the emails that we're going to read, and maybe more that we might get tonight, is that she hounds people about not parking the visitor parking so that nobody has to park in her driveway, and she tells them they're not allowed to, and that's for her business, and she's kind of mean about it to her neighbors. So I want to stay out of that pool. So I'm just going to keep to the stuff that I've seen. She should be able to meet our requirements. She should be able to get, she doesn't have more than 25%. I had a lady call me and tell me that there's no way that her business is less than 25% of her house, that it occupies way more than that. She says she runs it in the basement. The basement is just under 25% of the house. I ran the numbers. So I don't know. We'll just have to give her to me, we should just give her the conditions and let it play out with the homeowners association as it does.
Hey, Jared, I had one thought on this.
Sure.
Being a major home occupier here.
Mhm.
She has said in her application that she planned on seeing one client at a time.
Yeah.
So is that something we can put in the conditions to kind of help tweak our status?
Yeah.
Because we're not making that up. She's put it in her scope of operations that she would not see more than one at a time. And then that clearly delineates her having one person at her house at a time, parking in her driveway.
Yeah.
Because if there's only one person there, then they don't have to park in overflow parking.
That's a great addition, Sue. I didn't really think about that when I was writing up the conditions, the recommended conditions, but I would add that to item 2. The applicant shall see no more than 5 clients on any weekday, and then just finish it off by saying, and no more than 1 client at any given time. No more than 1 client at a time. I would just, if I can suggest that, just add it to condition 2 as a part of the action of the commission tonight. I think it's a great addition.
Hey, Travis, will
Can I
you
clarify
wordsmith
something?
that?
Well, while we're talking,
I'll see what I can come up with. But can I ask a question? We talk about on condition number 2, no more than 3 clients on any weekend. Does that mean 3 collectively over Saturday and Sunday, or is that 3 on Saturday?
or is it and Saturday and Sunday or Saturday and Sunday?
Yeah. Saturday and or Sunday. Sorry, I should say and or. You're right. I meant either Saturday or Sunday. No more than 3 on a Saturday or a Sunday.
I have the same question. That means in the end, she could have 6 clients on the weekend. 3 Saturday, 3 Sunday.
Saturday,
right?
3 Sunday.
Okay.
Yeah, I thought for safety purposes, I thought being real specific is going to be a good thing here.
Yeah, no, that's a great call.
Okay. Any other comments or concerns about that one? That one's going to take a little bit of time, I think.
Can I also clarify on 3? It says the applicant shall require all clients. Is it provide or require?
It should just say require.
Okay.
Sorry.
Thanks, Travis.
Do I need to say anything about that if I make a motion, or can we just?
I'm going to fix it in the slides right now.
Okay. Perfect. Perfect.
While Zach and Susan are talking about their items, I'm going to fix the slides to represent the right. Well, I can't actually because it'll be a bigger process because it's a snap clip. So yeah, if you wouldn't mind fixing when you say it should just say require all clients.
Okay. Yeah, one motion could take care of those 2, the deletion and the addition. That would be easy. Okay.
Thank you, guys.
Anything else? Jared, with regard to this, did we have more than the one email, that was forwarded to us?
Yeah.
Come in ahead of time.
Several more came in after that fact. And then in addition, the original emailer, Natalia, sent another comment and wanted to make sure that her comments were read into the record as well.
Okay.
And everybody else that emailed this week. And I thought it'll just be better to have them read in as volatile as the situation is down there. I thought it would be better if they
They're going to want to make sure that they've been heard. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. I agree.
And there's not that many. It's not like there's a dozen of them and they're 2 pages long. They're all short. Susan's going to read them, right, Susan? Because you love to read the email comments. So I'm just hitting her up for that now. Thank you.
It's all good. You're welcome. Yep.
All right.
Okay. All right. Agenda item number 7. And that is the Jamestown number 6 and number 8 subdivision amendment.
Correct. Yes. So this
Susan
one
got
was
that.
on the agenda a month or 2 ago. And then we ran into a little quirk at the end unexpectedly. So now instead of the 2 lots, it now involves 3. So 2 lots in Jamestown number 6 and the 1 lot in Jamestown number 8. Just to summarize, basically the property line will now coincide with the existing wall/fence extending up to the north until you get to the property that intersects off of Colleton Drive, and then it jets over where he's going to acquire 3,000 plus square feet from Sam Palazzolo. So So it's correcting the
Very
property
good.
line between lots 1 and 3 of Jamestown subdivision 6 and modifying between Jamestown 6 and 8 so that the property owner of Colleton can acquire 3,000 square feet of the adjacent property. That's just kind of summarizing the whole thing. The properties meet the minimum area requirements, setbacks. In fact, this actually brings things into compliance, where currently right now they're out of compliance. So this is a good
It's
thing.
another one of those county developments that is out of compliance with our current codes in that, right?
Well, it wasn't really the county. I think there was just some, for whatever reason, the fence was not built on the property line. Back,
Okay.
well, when it was in the county, actually, yeah. So, but people
Okay.
thought that was, and so it's kind of complicated things. It wasn't until Mr. Pratt wanted to buy property from Mr. Palazzolo that it kind of came to light of what the issue was. And Sam Palazzolo, if I'm saying your name wrong, let me know.
No, that's perfectly correct.
Thank you. Okay, good. So anyway, so they will have to submit the plats to be recorded, and then the deeds will need to be recorded after the plat is recorded, which then would transfer the property ownership.
Was there any public comment submitted prior?
Not a single comment from anybody.
Okay.
So
All right. All right. Any concerns or questions? Lisa, yes.
I don't have a concern. It seems pretty straightforward to me, but I had just one little tiny question. On the interior side yard setbacks, our report says, 8 feet minimum, a total of 20 feet. And it says that the new, make sure I'm reading it right, new lot, 609 will now have an 8-foot and a 14-foot setback, which is just a little shy of the requirements. I don't think it's a concern, but does the property owner know that they'll be shy of the requirements? And if they want to do something in the future, they might have to ask for a variance, 15 years down the line or something. I don't think it's a problem, just as long as everybody's aware of it and okay with it, right?
well, no, 8 plus 14 is 22,
Look at you.
and the minimum is 20.
I'm sorry. I thought the 20, I misread it. I thought the 20 was the total. It's a setback.
Oh, okay.
It is
I'm
a total
sorry.
between the two, but you have to have 8 feet as a minimum.
And 20 has to be the total of the 8 plus 14.
Yes.
Good math, Susan. Way to go. I read it in a super hurry. Sorry.
Oh, no, that's all good. It's all good. I was gonna say,
No, that's, I'm glad you're looking at it that close,
Yeah,
That's,
me
it's
too.
great.
yeah, it's all
Thanks.
good.
Thanks, Susan.
All right. Any other questions, concerns about that? Okay. All right. Well, item number 8, Winchester Corner.
Yeah, that's going to be me. I'm going to round out the night. I'm going to start and end. So it's a pretty simple, just 2-lot subdivision. The property owner is currently Cell Tower Holdings, and they want to lop off kind of that little corner there and separate the cell tower site from the existing single-family home.
Right. It's very smart. Yeah.
Yeah, it is very smart, I think. There are a couple just small things that were noted in your staff report, such as Lot 1 didn't meet the lot width requirement, which is 90 feet by about 4 feet. So I've just asked that as a condition of approval, and that the city engineer will verify that as well, that it meets that before we record. We don't have a lot size requirement there, so this lot can be 3,000 square feet. Lot 2, which is where the cell tower is, the existing home is going to be approximately 15,000 square feet, so more than enough. Other than that, I don't really have much. If you guys have questions about it, I can definitely answer.
So this is a Board of Adjustments item from years ago, and I don't remember if it was because of a variance or if it was because of the cell tower being a non-conforming use. Did you happen to have any information on that? The only reason I remember that is because the homeowner was murdered right after the application went through.
What?
Right, that's
Yeah.
right.
No, I have no
Yeah.
information on any murders or Board of Adjustment. I'm sorry. Susan might know something,
Okay.
but I
I
don't.
do remember that. Yes. Ooh, I forgot about that. Yeah, it was for the cell tower. Actually, the cell tower. Yeah.
It was the cell tower, right? Expansion of the non-conforming use.
Yes, you got it. Boy,
Okay,
you are
okay.
on that.
Well, hey, look at that. I should have done more research. So sorry about that. But yeah, I mean, so right now, the single family dwellings aren't allowed in the GO zone anyway. So really, we're just leaving two non-conforming lots. All we're doing is just creating a second one. If that makes sense. That didn't make sense, but it made sense in my head. So
I have a question. It's nowhere near as good as Travis's, but I'm still going to try.
doesn't have
That
anything to
if-
do with murder.
Nothing to do with murder or amazing memory either. So sorry. Might just have to do with my not understanding. If we move that line, I think you said 4 feet. Do we still need to require, which way are we moving the line? Do we still need to require the shed to be removed, or is it no longer on the property line?
So it would be moved to the east. Therefore, it would kind of get out of the shed would get past that. However, I'm requiring the shed be removed because you can't have an accessory structure without a main structure. And
So it doesn't matter how close it is to the property line. It can't be there.
yeah, I still want that one.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Anything
Unless
else?
Susan disagrees.
Huh?
I don't know if she or if Jared disagrees.
Oh, no. Well, you know what? I'm just looking at the code here. Sorry, you're going back to the 90-foot. Okay, there we go. Lot width. Yeah. Nope, I think that's good.
Yeah,
I think that's exactly right.
I'm still on murder, so it's.
Yeah, you're right. So you can't have an accessory structure without a main dwelling.
Okay, and I thought so. So
Yeah.
I wanted to make okay.
Jared, the news was the news feed tonight was depressing enough just in general. We don't have to dredge up old crimes, hideous crimes.
Correct.
Well, I was asking about the shed too, because I wanted to make sure Zachary wasn't in danger of violence toward him for having a shed removed that wasn't necessary.
He's good.
I've already been out there at dawn, as you'll see at my photos. So now I'm glad that I made it out with my life.
There you go. All right. Anything else? Okay. Well, look, we got about 6 minutes, so we can take a break, and I can put my dog outside so it doesn't bark again, as I'm sure some of you heard.
Okay, then we'll take a break.
See y'all in a minute.
It just rolled over to 6:30, so I say we get started here. I would like to welcome everyone this evening to the September 17th, 2020 electronic meeting of the Murray City Planning Commission. And before we get started this evening, I need to read this statement. My name's Phil Markham. I'm the chairman of the Planning Commission for this meeting. Public notice is hereby given that in accordance with Executive Order 2020-5, suspending the enforcement of provisions of Utah Code 52-4-202 and 52-4-207 due to infectious disease COVID-19 novel coronavirus issued by Governor Herbert on March 18, 2020, and Emergency Executive Order 20-02 issued by the mayor on April 1st, 2020, the Planning Commission of Murray City will hold an electronic-only regular meeting at 6:30 p.m. Thursday, September 17th, 2020. The chair of the Murray City Planning Commission has determined that due to the continued rise of COVID-19 case counts, meeting with an anchor location presents a substantial risk to the health and safety of those in attendance. No physical meeting location will be available. So with that, I would like to go over just a few procedural things tonight. We have 3 general business items that we'll deal with prior to getting into the meat of our agenda this evening. And once those are taken care of, we'll be dealing with, let's see, five items tonight. We have Athame Aesthetics, Ace Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, and a major home occupation business for Amy Nicole's Aesthetics, and a subdivision project, the Jamestown number 6 and Jamestown number 8 subdivision amendment. Also, we have Winchester Corner 2-lot subdivision to deal with. So the way it will work this evening, when we have those conditional use items and subdivision agenda items come up and the major home occupation, it'll be introduced by a staff member. We'll have a chance to clarify anything as a commission with him. And then we will ask the applicant to provide any additional information that they may like to present. And after that, we'll have a chance for public comment on each of these items tonight. And public comment with electronic meetings is a little different. The questions have to be submitted via email. And so our email address should be on your screen right now if you would like to submit an email question, and it will be read at the appropriate time. We have received in advance several emails concerning an agenda item tonight. Those will be read into the record as well during the public comment period of that appropriate agenda item. And then after that, we bring those items back up for further discussion to the commission, or if we see fit, a motion of approval or denial. So that's the way we'll work tonight. And with that, we'll get started. First of all, I wanted to welcome everybody that's here tonight. Again, I'm Phil Markham, the chair. I have Commissioner Travis Ney, Marin Patterson, Sue Wilson, Lisa Mokevich, and we have excused today Ned Hacker and Scott Woodbury from the commission. Zach Smallwood, Susan Nixon, and Jared Hall are here from staff to assist us with this tonight. And we have Bryant Farnsworth from the attorney's office to make sure we don't go to jail. So, all right, with that, let's move to our business items. Number 1 is approval of minutes of the August 20th, 2020 meeting. Did everybody have a chance to look at those and examine them?
Yes.
Any questions, comments, or corrections?
No.
Okay, I would.
There was one correction that we needed to make on our agenda.
Okay.
It just says that we are doing beauty and barber services, but it's beauty and massage
Okay.
and
Well,
electrolysis.
and we can deal with that in just a minute when we get to that agenda
Okay,
item. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. So do I have a motion for the approval of minutes?
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that we have approved the August 2020 minutes as written.
I'll second.
And you know what? I had my head down. That was Marin? Okay. So I have a motion by Travis, second by Marin. Those in favor? Aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. The approval of the minutes passes unanimously. Conflict of interest. Is there any conflict of interest with any of the items on tonight's agenda with any of the commission members?
No.
No, I do not have. Okay, great. All right. And approval of findings of fact from a previous meeting and action. We have finding of fact for the Egbert ADU, Mike and Wilma Egbert. Everyone, again, had a chance to look at that. And if there are any questions or concerns, we can address them. Otherwise, I would look for a motion to approve that.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion to approve the findings of fact for a conditional use permit to allow the construction and operation of an accessory dwelling unit for Mike and Wilma Egbert located at 931 West Chesterbrook Cove.
Okay. Thank you,
Mr.
Sue.
Chair, I'd like to second that motion.
Okay. I have a motion by Sue Wilson and a second by Lisa Mokevich. to approve the findings of fact for the Egbert ADU. Those in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, passes unanimously again. All right, with that, we will get to our first conditional use permit this evening. Athame Aesthetics at 825 East, 4800 South, Suite 230. And Jared, you will be presenting this evening?
I will not. It will be Zach, actually.
Oh, it is Zach. I looked up and I saw your smiling face, and where Zach has just blended into the background there. You need to move closer to your computer, Zach.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. So I also, did you want to say something, Lisa? Okay. So I first want to start off by saying if you are, I'm also kind of controlling the meeting as well with the Zoom portion of this. So if you are not speaking, will you make sure that you're on mute so that way we don't have any reverb or anything? Can make it very hard for people to transcribe if they're not muted. So with that, I will go ahead and share my screen here. So, all right. So I've been working with Corey Whitmer, who would like to open her aesthetic business at 825 East, 4800 South in Suite 230. This is for Athame Aesthetics. It's a conditional use permit for an aesthetics business. The property is here. It's approximately 2.93 acres with multiple buildings. She'll be using this furthest northwest building in Suite 230, which is on the second floor. It's approximately 761 square feet. The zoning is general office, which aesthetic services are a conditional use in this zone. One thing I did want to clarify, I believe it was Ms. Whitmer that chimed in a little bit earlier on. Massage services are actually a permitted use in this zone. So really what we're looking at this point is just the aesthetic side. So the massage portion of that is a permitted use, and she's allowed to do that as part of her business. It's the aesthetics that's requiring the conditional use permit. So we'll just go, I just wanted to make sure that we address that. Here is the site plan that she so diligently drew out for me. I appreciate that. Thank you very much. As you can see, as I mentioned, Suite 230 is here. Access is provided from 4800 South, just right there, right before it reaches Van Winkle. Parking required here is it would be 3 spaces for each booth. When talking to Ms. Whitmer, she had stated that there will be 3 booths there, which would be a required parking of 9 spaces. So you can see she has posted and stated that there are 153 available spaces. This is not a typically very busy office park. I don't think that it's going to have an impact whatsoever on this site. Here is the floor plan showing Suite 230 coming in with access to restrooms in the back and then this area as well. Couple photos for you, as I had mentioned. This is 825, 230 is up here. Also, just wanted to address the landscaping, which is typical with our conditional use permit applications. So a requirement of 14 trees, 23 5-gallon shrubs, and 46 1-gallon shrubs. This site is very well landscaped. It's taken care of. I went out and counted, and they more than meet that requirement there for the whole site. Last thing I wanted to mention is trash enclosure. There are actually a couple trash enclosures here. You can see this one here on the top left picture, kind of on the side there. It's still there and functioning. So staff is recommending approval of the conditional use permit, subject to the 3 conditions listed on your screen. Are there any questions so far from the Planning Commission?
Zach, I just have one curious question. You know, I know this is on the 2nd floor. I don't think there is an elevator in this building. Is there any, you know, implication as far as handicap access or that? How does the city deal with something like this? I know it's an older building.
Right, and it would actually play into building code. So if there was something during like their business license inspection, if something were to come up, then it would come through the building division. And I don't believe that 2-story buildings, and I'm just speaking off the cuff here. I don't know for certain, but I believe they're not required to have.
You know, and I don't see it as a big problem. It's just a curiosity more than anything.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I think it's just purely, sorry about that. I don't believe that they are required to have an elevator for a 2-story.
Okay.
More, if I can just jump in, just because as long as Bill's curious, just to know, it doesn't apply to this case just because for 1 or 2 reasons. Zach's exactly right. When they review for business licenses, the building department would look at those issues. The building might predate requirements. Modern building requirements require anything with a 2nd story that's over 3,000 square feet to have an elevator for ADA requirements. The building either predates that or doesn't quite meet the 3,000 square foot deal, but they wouldn't impose that after the fact. It would be a non-conforming building from previous code.
Sure. Yeah, and it's been there quite a while. I know that, so I'm sure
It's a fun magic number to know. It's 3,000 square feet for 2nd floor.
Okay.
Look, I learned something new today. That's great.
Any other questions from anyone on the commission right now for staff? Okay. Well, with that, I'd like to invite the applicant to come forward and first, if you would provide your name and address for us for the record, and then any other additional information you'd like to provide.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you giving me the time to do this. My name is Corey Whitmer. My home address is 5625 South, 575 East, Murray, Utah, 84107. And we are here to talk about our business adventure here with Athame Aesthetics. All we want to do is set up shop to provide a place of wellness for anyone in the community and above. We're just dedicated to our work, and we're really excited to get started. And I promise you it's only going to be a beneficial thing, especially because our business meets the exact highest demographic in the area as well. And I believe it was 53% of the demographic in our area was women between the ages of 26 and 37. And in the aesthetics business, that's especially beneficial. So I can only guarantee you that we are passionate. We will just put everything that we have out there into making the community better.
Okay. Well, and have you had a chance to review the 3 conditions that are attached to the conditional approval tonight? And can you meet those?
Yes, we absolutely can. Let me just make sure I have it here in front of me. Where are the conditions? Sorry, please pardon.
No, you're fine. If you would like, I can read them, or we can have someone from staff read.
Yes, if you don't mind. Sorry.
That's just fine.
Yes.
You are actually, I shared it on your screen. So
There it is right there.
Perfect. Thank you. Yes. So yes, all of that.
Okay.
Absolutely. Yeah,
Wonderful.
definitely. That's not even an issue. Thank you.
All right. Any questions from commission members for the applicant? Okay. Well, with that, I would like to take a couple of minutes and open this item up for public comment. We'll just give a couple of minutes for any emails to come into Susan if they need to, and then we'll read anything that comes into the record when we reconvene. So it'll be just a couple of minutes. Thank you.
Thank you.
not seeing any emails coming in.
Okay, so no activity at all coming in yet. All right. Well, I am comfortable with closing the public comment portion of this agenda item and bringing it back up to the commission members for further discussion, or if anyone sees fit, I will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chair,
Yes, please.
can I make a motion?
You certainly may.
Excellent. Did the Planning Commission approve a conditional use permit to allow the operation of an aesthetics business on the property addressed 825 East, 4800 South, Suite 230, subject to the 3 conditions as discussed?
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay. I have a motion by Lisa Mokevich and a second by Maren Patterson that the Planning Commission approve a conditional use permit to allow the operation of an aesthetics business on the property addressed 825 East, 4800 South, Suite 230, as reviewed in the staff report and subject to conditions 1 through 3 as contained in the report this evening. Please call for a vote.
Commissioner Milkovich,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ney,
Yes.
and Chairman Markham.
Yes. And I would like you to know that, I would like the applicant to know that in our previous discussion this evening, we were impressed with the application and the way you have your business set up and was presented to us is precisely what we would like to see in Murray. So good luck.
Hey, thank you so much. Truly, thank you.
Okay. All right. With that, we will move to our next agenda item, item number 5, and it is a
Jump in real
conditional.
quick, Phil.
Oh, yes.
I just wanted to let any applicants know as well. I always continue to forget to do this, especially in electronic meetings. Once your item is done, you don't have to stick around if you don't want. You are more than welcome to, as much as you love the public process, you're more than welcome to leave.
I thought it was a condition that we made them miserable before they got their license.
There was a conditional use a few months back where he stayed on the entire time, and I felt awful. So,
all right.
Okay, I apologize for interrupting. Sorry.
Not a problem. We'll move to our next agenda item number 5, a conditional use permit for a plumbing contractor, Ace Plumbing and Drain Cleaning, and that is located at 5226 South Commerce Drive, number 2. And this one is going to be Jared presenting. If he turns on his mic.
As I do. Are you guys seeing the screen, the slide?
Yes.
Are you seeing it in the slideshow format that you should be seeing it in now?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay, great. Let me get to where it needs to be. Sorry for the delay there. So this is an application for Ace Plumbing and Drain Cleaning. It's a conditional use for a plumbing contractor. As you're aware, the plumbing contractors are required to get conditional use permits of all kinds, contractors of any kind, required to get conditional use permits in the MG zone. This is the property you can see from the air there, the long building there with the building at the back, parking area, Commerce Drive here on the east. It is in the MG zone. The property to the south is in the CD zone. And we actually have mixed use property to the east of it, but this is in the MG zone. We've not had a contractor in this space before, not a 6600 class contractor anyway, so we're looking for a conditional use permit for Ace Plumbing. This is the site plan that the applicants provided. It shows kind of roughly here where their unit is. It's one unit in the larger building. Again, as we talked about before, there is some parking right adjacent to the building, about 5 spaces with an ADA compliant stall, and then there are 35 to 40 spaces along the south property line here, and then again, there's some landscaping out along Commerce Drive. We'll talk about that more in just a moment. The interior of the building, these are the floor plans the applicant provided. It is, just to talk about the parking a little bit, the space is just over 2,100 square feet with mostly open shop space and garage and a little bit of office. It wouldn't require more than, let me see, I'm forgetting my parking requirement for it, but there's about a requirement of 5 spaces, and there's 35 to 40 spaces available on the site. We're not seeing a parking issue. We do have a couple of things that we want to see change, though, and I wanted to talk about those with these photographs. So you're looking west across Commerce Drive at the property here. This is the front of the property. You can access the building as you saw on the floor plans there from the overhead doors here. The parking is all along this south side that kind of goes off screen there, but the landscaping out front has 3 trees in it like we would require. Section 17.68 does require a certain number of trees in frontage landscaping and a certain number of 5-gallon shrubs and 1-gallon shrubs. And as we pointed out in the packet for you, those existing trees meet the requirement of 3 trees, but there are no shrubs at all in this landscaping. So we're asking for the installation of 5 5-gallon shrubs and 9 1-gallon shrubs. Just about 91 feet of frontage here. If you look on that second photo, it's about 91 feet of frontage, excluding that access. So they do need to install some 5-gallon and 1-gallon shrubs. As long as we're on this photograph as well, the other condition that we're recommending be corrected on the site, since we're looking at conditional use permit for it, is that there's a dumpster here. This is there temporarily, but there's a dumpster here that looks like it's pretty much a permanent fixture, and another one further down. They ought to be in enclosures, or they ought to be moved inside of the building. A lot of industrial buildings just keep their dumpsters inside a unit so that they're not visible from the street. In any case, those are the conditions that we think need to be met. Staff is recommending approval for the contractor subject to these conditions, meeting general codes, getting permits for any construction, although they haven't, they've stated they're not going to be doing any changes, making any changes, and then relocating the dumpsters or putting them in an enclosure that would meet the requirements of 1776-170, and working with us to get those additional plant materials. Do you have any questions for staff at this time? Okay.
All right. Thank you, Jared. Is the applicant watching this evening?
I was looking for them in the participant list and I did not see them.
Yeah, I didn't see anything earlier either. So I really don't think that they have logged into the meeting.
No.
Well, we'll go ahead then with we'll forego that and go straight to public comment on this item, unless there are any questions or concerns from the commission members before we do that. Okay. Well, with that, I will open this agenda item up for public comment. We'll take a couple of minutes and see if we have any emails come through. Susan, do we have any activity at all concerning this?
We have received none.
Okay. I'm comfortable in closing the public comment portion of this agenda item and bringing it back up to the commission. Before I ask if there are any concerns, we can only assume that the applicant is willing and able to meet the 5 conditions attached with this. His chance to present any other information is now, and if he's not here, we will hold those without amending any of those with regards to the application. So are there any comments or questions?
I can tell you that I've been in touch with Kayleen from their office working on the application, and we did speak after the report had come out. She didn't express any concerns with the conditions that we've put on.
Okay.
So should be okay.
Well, that's good to know, because the time for concerns is now over. So with that, I will bring this up for any further discussion or a motion if someone sees fit.
Mr. Chair, I would like to make a motion that the Planning Commission approve a conditional use permit to allow the operation of a plumbing and drain cleaning service business on the property located 5226 South Commerce Drive, number 2, subject to the 5 conditions in the report.
Thank you. Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Okay, Lisa. All right, I have a motion by Maren Patterson, a second by Lisa Mokevich, that the Planning Commission approve a conditional use permit to allow the operation of a plumbing and drain cleaning service business on the property located at 5226 South Commerce Drive, number 2, subject to the 5 conditions presented this evening with the application. Please call for a vote.
Ms. Patterson,
Yes.
Ms. Mokevich,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
Mr. Nay,
Yes.
and Mr. Markham.
Yes.
Thank you.
Well, I hope that your communication with them goes as planned and they're excited about doing business with Murray. All right. Our next agenda item is a major home occupation business. It is Amy Nicole's Aesthetics, 6741 South Bonham Lane. It's a home occupation aesthetics business. And Jared, you'll be doing this one as well.
I will. Thank you. So as you said, Chairman Markham, this is a major home occupation. So it's a different kind of approval than most that we generally see. We do allow, just by way of information for the public that may be viewing or reading minutes in the future, we do allow home occupation businesses in residential zones in the city of Murray. Home occupations are those home-based businesses that are conducted. We have several types of them, and some we classify as major home occupations. Major home occupation businesses need to either be approved by all adjacent neighbors or by the Planning Commission to be considered. This particular application has come to the Planning Commission in the name of the development has just left my head, Braemar Village development. This is Bonham Lane right here, and the applicant's home is here at the end of Bonham Lane. You can see that there. It is in the RM15 zone. And we do, again, it's a residential zone. We do allow home occupation licenses there. Major home occupations are required to meet different standards or additional standards than those that we typically see for home occupations. All those standards are contained in section 17.24 of the ordinance. And I just wanted to talk about a couple of them as we look at the business. This is an aesthetics business, so facials and skincare, that kind of thing, and that is classified as a major home occupation in our code. It does have to be operated in no more than 25% of the dwelling, based on the numbers, the square footage of the floor plans that were provided. We do show it in less than 25% of the home. It has to be conducted entirely within the main dwelling. All home occupations do. That seems to be the case as well. It has to be operated by residents of the home. That condition has been met apparently by the applicant. These are all things that we review relative to her business plan that she provided and the descriptions of her business. One of the other things that we look at for major home occupations that are in addition to the normal requirements for other home occupation businesses are that we need to look at the limits on, we're supposed to, as a planning commission, consider limits on things that will help mitigate any impacts and keep it from having an impact on the neighborhood that it's in. Some of those include things like limits on the hours of operation. Now, in this case, the applicant has indicated that she likes to operate on Mondays to Fridays between 10 a.m. and 7 p.m. That doesn't seem unreasonable in consideration. We do think it's advisable to establish those by the conditions of approval that would be set for the major home occupation. Another thing to look at would be limits on the number of clients that come in per day or per hour. She's indicated that she sees no more than 5 clients on weekdays. We think, again, as staff, that would be good to establish by conditions of approval. And as was pointed out in the pre-meeting, no more than 1 client at a time. And we failed to get that in the conditions. So if you can correct that for us. 1 client at a time and no more than 5 in any weekday. And we recommend as staff no more than 3 on the days of the weekend. So Saturday or Sunday, no more than 3 clients, 1 at a time, to keep the numbers of people on weekends down when more of the other homeowners would be in the neighborhood at that time. One of the other considerations is traffic and parking when we're looking at major home occupations. Again, I should have showed you this when we were talking about the square footage, et cetera, but this is the homeowner's floor plans that were provided in your staff reports. Again, when you crunch these numbers, you see less than 25% in the basement area where she's indicated that she operates the aesthetics business. Parking and traffic. So the area is not well designed for on-street parking because of the number of driveways that come out onto the narrow roads. But there is some visitor parking as well. This is a shot looking down at the end of Bonham Lane as it dead ends in the south. The applicant's unit is on the left here of the photograph, and you can see it here with the two-car driveway. She's indicated that she'll have all of her clients park in the driveway and not on the street and not in the visitor parking. Did take a couple of pictures of that just to show you. You can see the visitor parking is here along Borthwick Way, which runs just north from Bonham Lane, just north of the subject property. And then looking down the street, you can kind of see that the large number of driveways that come out onto the street prevent there being a lot of accessible on-street parking. So parking in the neighborhood is tight. It's important that she park her clients in that driveway, and that's the reason for the limit of numbers and one at a time. And we do recommend that that be established by condition of approval as well. The other condition of approval that we are recommending, and we are recommending approval, we feel like as we've reviewed her business plan and her kind of narrative of her operations and the neighborhood and the unit that she's in, the kind of normal requirements for home occupations can be met, and the extra considerations for major home occupations can be met by the property and by the applicant. So we are recommending approval with these 6 conditions. We've talked about all of them, with the exception of just a couple. Nothing that the Planning Commission would do in granting a major home occupation with conditions would exempt the business owner from meeting the requirements of the state and the county for operation, county health department, et cetera, for operation of the skincare business. That's item number 4. Building and fire codes. They'll want to do a review and an inspection, since that hasn't been done yet. And nothing, again, would exempt her from the rules of her own homeowners association. There is an active homeowners association in Braemar Village, and she'll need to demonstrate that she has approval from them before we can issue a Murray City business license. That's a private contract between property owners, and we don't have any authority there. So staff is recommending approval with these 6 conditions, all of them intended to assure operation that would not impact the neighborhood and that would keep her in compliance with all those other issues. Do you have any questions for staff at this point?
I think the presentation was very thorough, Jared. Thank you. I would like to ask if the applicant is watching tonight.
Hello, commissioners.
Oh.
Yes, I'm Amy Nicole Green, and I am the one trying to get the major home occupation.
Could you state your address for the record, Amy? And I'm having a tough time hearing you. I don't know if we can do something with the volume on your mic or that, but it's very low.
Can you hear me now?
That's much better. Thank you.
My property address is 6741 South Bonham Lane, Murray, Utah 84123. I have lived in this community. I'm an original property owner. I've lived here for 17 years. I've also served my community by being on the HOA board. I care about my community, and it's really nice. I would like to keep it very nice and very clean. The reason why I'm asking you guys for the major home occupation is because one of the requirements from my HOA is that in order for me to have my studio operated in my home, I have to be in full compliance with all applicable zoning and other laws. So when I called Murray City to find out if I could in fact get approved for zoning for a small business, they instructed me, which I would like to actually thank Susan for helping me with that, because it was very scarce when I came into the office, but she was able to help me with my application and getting it submitted. So thank you for that, Susan. I appreciate it. I really do. Because with COVID, everything's been very difficult. So what I'm trying to do is get my business approved so that just because of COVID, since we're speaking of that, I feel that it would be easier for me to keep things clean and sanitary within my own domain. Also, I'm recovering from an injury that I had of a broken ankle and leg. So it would make it a lot easier if I could work from my own home at this current time. I would plan on limiting my appointments. They would be by appointment only. I have a 2-car garage and a 2-car driveway, so I would not impact any of the traffic in my community whatsoever, because I would only work by appointment, and I would make sure every single appointment that I took, or any client that I took, that I sent a pin to them, a Google pin, so they would know exactly where I was and exactly where to park. And I would make sure before those services started that I was in compliance with my HOA and with the regulations that you guys have set forth here for me today. But it's a very quiet spa-like atmosphere, so there wouldn't be any disturbance to the neighborhood of noise or anything like that. And it would be limited work hours. That's really all. If there are any public comments, I would ask if I could please just reserve the right to maybe address them. Just take a minute.
Yes, we will allow that after the public comment period is closed. Then yes, you will have the opportunity to address that.
Thank you very much.
Before I let you go, I just want to make sure we're very clear that the 6 conditions on the screen right now, you have read those, and you are willing and able to comply with those.
Yes, commissioners, I am.
Okay, thank you very much. Any questions from the commission for the applicant right now? Okay, we may have some after public comment. We'll see. I know that there has been some public comment submitted prior to the meeting, and we may have some more this evening. So with that, I would like to open up this agenda item for public comment and encourage anyone that would like to have their comments read into the record to send us an email. The email is on the screen. I don't have it on my screen, and I don't want to screw up trying to say it, but maybe Jared, you could repeat the email address.
As soon as I unmute, I can. Sorry about that. It is planningcommission@murray.utah.gov. And if you're, the only way you really see it is if you're watching the live feed or watching on YouTube or Facebook.
Okay, great.
Those
all right, with that, we'll take a couple of minutes and allow any new comments to come in. And we will also, at the end of this comment period, we'll read those that have been submitted. So thank you.
Phil, do you want to start with the ones that have come in up till now?
Yes, please. I was muted, Susan. I apologize.
Okay. Okay. Jared, how about if I take a couple and you take a couple?
Go ahead. You read the first couple. I'll read next.
Okay. So we did receive so far 4 emails from 4 different individuals. The first one we received is from Joyce Wall, received on Saturday, September 12th. And the email says, "Hello, Jared. I wanted to respond to my neighbor getting a business license in her home, Amy Nicole Green. I have lived here for the entire time that this mostly quiet neighborhood has existed, as has Amy, although Amy is loud and can be mean and really mean to some. I am in opposition of this business in a neighborhood. We have a small community with narrow streets and not a lot of parking, and she lives at the end of the street. I hate to have strangers in our neighborhood for purposes of skincare and whatever else she offers. Seems like that kind of business should not be in these kind of confines, but more a strip mall. It's traffic in a private neighborhood for business purposes. I appreciate you considering our remarks, and I would not want others having a business that brings customers in our private neighborhood." Joyce Wall, and she is at 17 South Bonham Lane. And then the next one we received from Carly Corlett. This was received on Monday, September 14th. Hello, Jared. My neighbor shared your email with me to express my concerns I have regarding Amy Green's business license for Amy Nicole Aesthetics. I live two doors down from Amy at 6731. I personally am against this business license for a few reasons. One, with Amy's house being at the end of the street, that means all of our clients would be trafficking through our neighborhood. I myself have a 2.5-year-old and don't love the idea of having cars in and out right in front of my house all day. Second, and most importantly, Amy has harassed and threatened my husband and me multiple times for parking in the spot across from our house, banging on my door nonstop until someone answered multiple times so she could get her point across, and took multiple pictures of our car. She claimed those were for guests only, and for whatever reason, does not allow her clients to use her driveway, where in fact our HOA specifically says that owners' guests should first use the owner's driveway and then the overflow parking. I do not want this to continue to happen, since it is extremely disruptive and quite shocking to a neighborhood. Actually does all of that so she can have her clients park in a spot instead of her own driveway. There are also many times Amy has guests waiting in her car for either their upcoming appointment or waiting to give the individuals who are receiving a service a ride home. I do not like that people sit outside of my house. Sometimes it's been for an hour or longer as they wait for whatever reason. Our community is small, and I personally feel that if someone is going to have that type of a business that requires that much traffic, that business should be in a public setting through a booth/room rental. Please feel free to call me if you have any questions. Thanks, Carly Corlett. Then Jared.
All right, and I'll take, I think the next one, I guess the next one received would really be I'm going to do Julie Moore's because I can't tell. So I'm going to go from there. Julie Moore, we received this comment today, Thursday, September 17th. Murray City Planning Commission. Hello, I am writing this letter in regards to Amy Nicole Green applying for a business license in her home, 6741 South Bonham Lane, Murray. I am president of our HOA in Braemar Village, where Amy is wanting to license her business. I am asking for you to deny her a business license. She has been operating this business in her home for years without approval from the HOA, never obtaining a business license or inspections from the Board of Health. This is very disrespectful and dishonest. Person trying to get away with not following the proper protocol and laws from the state, city, HOA in getting the approval and licensing to run her business. In addition, the Utah Department of Professional Licensing has also sent Amy a cease and desist letter for her to stop practicing as a master esthetician in her home. Our CC&Rs state, no industry, business, trade, or profession of any kind, whether or not for profit, shall be conducted, maintained, or permitted on any part of the property. The CC&Rs alone is a reason to deny her a business license. We also have a big parking problem in our community where there is not enough parking for the residents, let alone parking for a business. Not only that, as the HOA president, I have gotten many complaints from other residents regarding Amy's business. Her business has been a nuisance for our community for a while now. This business is not something that should be part of our residential and quiet community. Thank you for your time. Julie Moore, Braemar Village HOA president. And I'll read into the record too, Natalia Dunyon's comments, also received today, Thursday, September 17th. It says, hello, Jared. I tried calling you earlier. I am not sure if the Planning Commission is still planning on voting or making a decision regarding Amy Nicole Green's business tonight or not. But if you are, I would like my email to be considered. I would like to reiterate my concern with the fact that if I were to sell my house, having an esthetician salon business next door, it would devalue my property and affect any buyer's decision. As the person who shares walls with this property, I strongly oppose this business. and Natalia had made her first comments on Friday, September 11th. Those were sent to you as a commission previously. Did you want me to read those in the previous?
I believe in the pre-meeting, we discussed that we had all seen that email and we had read that. So I think that's sufficient, Jared, for the one that was emailed or, sent to us quite a bit earlier.
In that event, then we have completed the comments that we have, unless more have come in while we've been talking. Susan, anything?
No more.
And that concludes the public comments.
Okay. Well, with that, I will close the public comment portion of this agenda item then. And I would invite the applicant to address some of the concerns that were brought up in the public comment portion, if you would like, please.
Yes, commissioners. The first one was from Joyce Wall regarding the traffic there. And also she mentioned that strangers and small community. We do in fact have a small community. We have 42 townhomes in our community. There will not be any impact of traffic. It would be no different than if a friend was coming to visit me and parked in my driveway and came over. It's not a high volume business by any means at all. So I would like to let Joyce know that there would be no worry or concern for this for our small community. And also with me limiting my appointments between the 5 a day and the 3 on the weekends, it wouldn't even be noticeable to her if she's working during the day. It wouldn't inconvenience her at all. And also with Carly Collette, she actually put her home up for sale. So her concern with traffic and parking and the disruptive nature won't be an issue, because I know that she had a for sale sign up for her house and she said it's closing in October, that they're going through that right now. So I will address this though, because she did mention her small child and not wanting there to be any traffic outside. There already is traffic outside. And we do have such small streets in a small community and very small front yards. So usually people already in the community use my driveway. Because I'm at the end of a cul-de-sac, sometimes the neighbors will just bring their trash in their car to the end of the street. Or sometimes the neighbors will just, if someone's delivering a package, and then they'll turn around. So there is in fact already traffic in the community. So it wouldn't be adding any additional traffic. There already is. And then with Julie Moore stating that I've been operating for a long time, that's not in fact true. I do also have a letter from the last HOA meeting that I had with them where I did in fact prove that to them. And we just had another HOA meeting yesterday to address this matter because for whatever reason, they felt like they needed more information from me as well. So I did address that for her. And then I never did in fact ever receive any cease and desist letter because there's been no violation of code or law. So that's, to the best of my knowledge, untrue. I can't imagine it being disruptive for the reasons I gave. It's a very quiet atmosphere. It's a spa. There's people come because they want to relax. They want to come have a facial. They want to have a microdermabrasion. There's not even a lot of talking in the time that they're there. It's just very quiet. And then Natalia Dunnins, who is my next door neighbor, who says that we do share a common wall. That is in fact true. I have lived here for 17 years. I've never had a problem with anything, with noise or anything. But since Natalia's moved in, I have had problems with her. We started a friendship that has devolved. And as a result of that, she has called the police on me twice during the day, one time at 12 o'clock noon and one time at 2 o'clock in the afternoon during the pandemic. So I know Natalia does not like me very much. And that's the whole reason why I didn't try to go to her to get her signatures, is because I knew she wouldn't do that because she doesn't like me, to be honest. So I feel that there would be no devaluing of the property. I love my community. That's why I've kept my townhome for 17 years. And I've lived here because I love it. And so I want to keep it nice just as much as anybody else. And I've served on the board. I care. I do. I'm out there. I pick up trash in my neighborhood. I just care. I really do. That's why I've served on the board. And that's why I'm still in my community. Thank you for your time and consideration.
Thank you. Are there any questions for the applicant from commission members? Okay. Seeing none, I would, yes.
I have a,
Yes, please.
I think just point of clarification, and I kind of want to ask the staff if this, how to approach the question, if it's appropriate. I think the applicant tried to submit some evidence a moment ago supporting her arguments, and she was stating that she presented evidence to her HOA that she has not been in operation. I wanted to ask the staff, is it appropriate for us to ask her to clarify that point, how long she's been in operation, or is it kind of a moot point because it was presented to somebody else and we don't have access to it at the moment?
In my opinion, and I don't know, Brian can weigh in if he feels like he needs to. In my opinion, it's irrelevant. It's outside of the realm of what we're doing. It has to do with her and her HOA. We review lots of businesses who have been in operation prior to their applications to us. That's nothing new. The penalty for that happens when you get your actual license for operating previously. So it doesn't really matter how long. Our goal is always compliance with the new rules as opposed to, or compliance with the rules. Whether that happens when it should, before business starts or after it starts, is sort of beside the point. And the issue between her and the HOA and proving that how long it's been in operation, that has to do with their application with them, I think, more than with us. So no, I don't think it's necessary really to worry about it.
Okay, thank you for
That makes sense.
Yep, thank you.
And just to reiterate Jared's point a little bit, we as a commission can only be concerned with the application as presented to us this evening. HOAs, we do not uphold their rules and regulations or the CC&Rs. We only have the Murray City Code to consider. However, as you look at these conditions, one of the mandatory conditions, number 6, does state that the HOA will have to approve this for this application to be issued a business license. So I think that is really the only connection that we can lean on as far as dealing with the HOA in this application. If the applicant presented to us agrees to all of the conditions and has met all of staff's concerns, then the action is pretty clear in my opinion. Any other questions or comments from commission members?
I guess this maybe is a question for staff, but just to clarify, this type of business, this anesthetician business, is a major home occupation that any of us could have in our homes with conditions to mitigate impacts to neighbors, right? So, anyone in Murray City could be running or, could be approved to, with conditions, have this same business, right? Do you get what I'm saying? Like this isn't a special exception or situation. This is an allowed business with conditions of approval.
That's a great point, Commissioner Patterson. It's an allowable major home occupation in any residential zone in the city. And these would be the same kinds of considerations that we would give any application like this, that we're supposed to look at making sure the traffic isn't beyond what would normally happen in a neighborhood. I think the applicant mentioned deliveries and things like that. 5 people a day visiting as a maximum that's the reason for that kind of condition. It's the kind of conditions we would impose anywhere. And then the final condition we would impose also. Many places don't have active homeowners associations. And so that would be, that might not be imposed somewhere else where there wasn't an active HOA, but where there is one, it's in our purview to say that ought to be met. We don't meddle with that. So yeah, it's a good point. Thank you.
Mr. Hall, it might be the appropriate time also to say, following what you just said, if conditions are imposed and something's approved, those conditions are enforced by neighbors letting the city know if they're not being upheld.
Right. That's a great point. We hear, we get those kinds of complaints depending on the situation, lots of different times about the operations of different businesses, not always about home occupations only, but in other cases as well. That same logic applies to anything that was on the agenda tonight. If people, when we hear a complaint about a business, we send someone out to check and see what's going on, if they're meeting the conditions. Mark Bourne in our office mostly has the pleasure of having those visits and inspections to do. He was out looking at the fence around the twin homes going up on Winchester Street today to make sure it meets site triangle conditions that we gave it when it was approved. It does. Spoiler alert, it meets them. So you hear that it doesn't. It does. It's been measured a couple of times, just so you know. But those kind of things are enforced by neighbors letting us know, and by annual kinds of reviews when we talk to applicants when they renew their licenses, et cetera. And just as long as we're talking about that, just to be clear for public who've called, because I've spoken to many of the neighbors who wrote in emails. I spoke to a lot of them on the phone, and so the applicant understands very clearly. Again, I know that it's been talked to her about as well, but so the commission and everyone watching and the applicant all understand to put the absolute clarity to it. What you are all approving tonight or looking at tonight is what we call an entitlement, a zoning entitlement. It is not a business license. It's the zoning approval for someone to seek a business license in the first place. So if she can meet these conditions like Chairman Markham mapped out and said, she can meet these conditions, one of them being getting approval from her HOA, then we can issue our business license, but we will not issue that license until we've met these 6 conditions. Okay?
Thank you, Jared. Very well done. Any other questions or comments from the commission? Okay, with that, I will entertain a motion if anyone would like.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion that we approve the request for a major home occupation to allow the operation of a skin care and esthetician services business from the residential property address 6741 South Bonham Lane, subject to conditions 1 through 6 with 2 revisions. Revision number 1 is to condition number 2, and I will add the statement that says no more than 1 client shall be seen at a time. And then revision number 2 is in condition number 3, and it's simply striking the 4th word, provide.
Okay, all right.
Nay, did we want to, in condition number 2, did we want to clarify Saturdays and or Sundays so that do we make it clear there's 3 clients each day, not just
I'm comfortable with it the way it's written.
Okay. All right. Do I have a second for Travis's motion?
I'll second.
Thank you, Sue. I have a motion by Travis Ney and a second by Sue Wilson that the Planning Commission approve the request for a major home occupation to allow the operation of a skincare and esthetician services business from the residential property addressed at 6741 South Bonham Lane, subject to conditions 1 through 6, with condition number 2 reading, the applicant shall see no more than 5 clients on any weekday, Monday through Friday, and no more than 3 clients on any weekday, Saturday and Sunday, and no more than 1 client at a time. And also with condition number 3, the minor change would be the applicant shall require all clients to park in the driveway of the home at 6741 South Bonham Lane. No parking on the street or in the visitor parking for the larger neighborhood by clients shall be permitted. The rest of the conditions are as presented tonight. Please call for a vote.
Thank you. Mr. Ney?
Yes.
Ms. Wilson?
Yes.
Ms. Milkevich?
Yes.
Ms. Patterson?
Yes.
Mr. Markham?
Yes.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. All right, we shall move on with our next agenda item, and we are moving into subdivision projects now. Item number 7 on the agenda is Jamestown number 6 and Jamestown number 8 subdivision amendment at 6330 South Colleton Circle and 6351 and 6353 South Lorraine Place. And it looks like Susan gets this honor.
Thank you. Yes, this application is for a subdivision amendment and lot line adjustments for 3 properties. Address 6330 Colleton Circle, 6351, and 6353 South Lorraine Place. As shown on the map here, all of the properties are located in our R110 zone, which does require a minimum of 10,000 square feet per lot. These properties were originally developed when they were under the jurisdiction of Salt Lake County and later annexed into Murray City. This exhibit shows the current layout of the 3 lots. Jamestown subdivision number 6 has lots 609 and 608. 609 is owned by Ty and Michelle Call. Lot 608 is owned by Sam Palazzolo. And then in Jamestown subdivision number 8, lot 802 is owned by David and Carla Pratt. The proposal is to amend the property line between lots 1 and 3 as shown on this exhibit. Currently, there is a wall slash fence that goes between lots 1 and 3, and the wall apparently was constructed not on the property line, and unbeknownst to any of us until just recently. And then, so this proposal is to make the property line to coincide with the existing fence. Up until you get to lot number 2, as shown here. Oops, excuse me, let me go back. And at this point, lot number 2, which is owned by Mr. Pratt, is desirous to acquire approximately 3,000 square feet from Mr. Palazzolo. And so therefore, we need to amend both of these subdivisions, Jamestown 6 and 8. State law does require that the land use authority approve subdivision amendments. And so therefore that is being presented to the Planning Commission this evening. Also, our subdivision ordinance title 16 of the Murray City Municipal Code requires land use approval also. The lots are all contiguous to each other, as you can see. Here's a couple of photos. Upper left-hand corner is the home at Colleton Circle. And then upper right shows, if you can see the wall fence is right here between the property at 6351 and 6353. And here again, and then over here, this is the 2 homes on Lorraine Place. I'm going to go back to the site plat here. So all the lots currently meet the zoning regulations of the R110 zone. They all have at least 10,000 square feet. They meet the setbacks. Actually, this proposal will bring lot number 3, property at 6351, more into compliance, where the home was added on to about 4 or 5 years ago with an attached garage, and they measured it from the wall and not the property line. So this actually brings it into compliance. All the lots, so then we'll meet setbacks side, front, and rear. It does increase lot 802 by 2,390 square feet, slightly decreases the square footage of lot 608 by 3,252, and will increase lot 609 by 857 square feet. So by the time it's all said and done, the property at 6330 South Colleton Circle will have 15,111 feet. Property at 6353 South Lorraine will have 11,231. And the property at 6351 will have 15,505 square feet. if planning commission does approve this subdivision / lot line adjustment this evening, the plat will need to be recorded, and following after the plat is recorded, the deeds will need to be recorded also, which actually transfers the property from one owner to the other. So based on this proposal and state law and Murray City Code, subdivision code and the zoning regulations, staff has reviewed this application and feels that it does meet those requirements of state code and subdivision and zoning regulations. And we are recommending approval for the amendment to Jamestown's number 6 subdivision and number 8. For the properties addressed 6330 South Colleton Circle and 6351 and 6353 South Lorraine Place, subject to 6 conditions as outlined. And I'm happy to answer any questions.
Thank you. No, that was great. Do any of the commission members have any questions or clarifications? Well done. With that, I would like to ask if the applicant is watching and is present this evening.
I believe all 3 of them are present. I saw them, so maybe they're on mute.
Can you hear me?
There we go.
This is Tyler Call. I'm one of the property owners.
Okay.
I'm present, I'm watching, and if you have any questions, I'm happy to answer them. We're just trying to, from my perspective, just trying to get the property line where the wall has been for 40 years.
Sure. And do you have any additional information that you would like to add in addition to what's been presented by staff tonight, sir?
No, I do not.
Okay. And you know what? For the record, let me ask you to state your name and address one more time for us, just for the gal taking the minutes, please.
Tyler Call, 6351 South Lorraine Place. Dave Pratt is texting me right now. He's saying, can you hear me? So somehow we cannot hear him. He's trying to talk. He is on this meeting also. So I'm Tyler Call, 6351 South Lorraine Place. And I'm one of the lots. Dave Pratt is on this phone call, and for some reason we can't hear him. He says to me, I have nothing to add, is what he just texted me.
All right. Thank you. And we had Mr. Palazzolo here earlier this evening. I'm not sure if he is still with us.
I don't know either. I can tell you that the 3 of us have been working on this for months, working together to make sure that everyone's happy with it. And we appreciate Murray City doing a good job on this.
Okay. Well, with that, I'm going to put the onus on you, since you are in attendance and communicating with us tonight, that just to, for the record, ask that you can comply with all 6 conditions of approval that we've outlined this evening.
So I'm going to speak on behalf of Dave Pratt, because Dave Pratt is the person purchasing the land from Sam Palazzolo, and he texted me, yes, he will meet the requirements that you have outlined.
All right. All right. Well, I will take that as a yes for all parties involved as well. So with that, are there any questions from the commission members for the applicants at all? Seems pretty straightforward, actually. So, all right. With that, I would like to open this agenda item for public comment. Susan, did we receive any prior to the meeting?
We have not received any, actually, at all from any neighbors. So, and I don't see any coming in.
Okay. I'll just to fulfill our obligation, I'll give it just a little bit of time here before we close the public comment period.
While we're waiting, I might want to just mention that condition number 2, the existing public utility easements will need to remain in place or be relocated. The original plat did show a public utility easement going through, I'm going to go back to it actually, through at this location right here. Actually, it would be right here. There was a PUE that went from here all the way down to there. As far as we know, there may still be a utility company there, but they will have to work that out, either relocate it or get approval from them to relocate the PUE. So, and I know Mr. Pratt is aware of that condition, so.
Okay. All right. Anything come through at all, Susan?
No.
Okay. I will close the public comment portion of this agenda item then and bring this back up to commission members for any questions, comments, or a motion if you see so fit.
Mr. Chair, I'd like to make a motion that the Planning Commission grant approval for an amended subdivision to the Jamestown number 6 subdivision and Jamestown number 8 subdivision on the properties addressed 6330 South Colleton Circle, 6351 and 6353 South Lorraine Place, subject to conditions 1 through 6.
Thank you, Sue.
I'll second.
I have a motion by Sue Wilson and a second by Travis Ney to that the Planning Commission grant approval for an amended subdivision to the Jamestown number 6 subdivision and Jamestown number 8 subdivision on the properties addressed 6330 South Colleton Circle, 6351 and 6353 South Lorraine Place, subject to conditions 1 through 6 as contained in the application and presented to us this evening. Please call for a vote.
Mr. Ney,
Yes.
Ms. Milkevich,
Yes.
Ms. Patterson,
Yes.
Ms. Wilson,
Yes.
and Chairman Markham.
Yes. Good luck with your transaction, sir. It's nice to see all the neighbors working together on an application. That obviously doesn't always happen. All right, and we have one final agenda item. That is item number 8 is a subdivision project also. Winchester Corner at 20 East Winchester Street. It is a 2-lot subdivision of an existing parcel. And Zach will present this to us. Welcome back, Zach.
Thank you very much. Yes, I will be presenting this item. Sorry, I gotta move some things around. There we go.
Come on,
Okay.
Zach.
I know. When I hit share screen, everybody just explodes, and I don't know where you all went. So, but here we are. All right. So this is a request for a 2-lot subdivision located at 20 East Winchester Street. This is technically a commercial subdivision located here, 20 East Winchester. It's this property here. It's currently used as a non-conforming use and structure. The building, we don't typically allow single-family homes within the geo zone that this is located in. It's a single-family home with a cell tower way off onto the west of that property. This is 0.42 acres. They are proposing to split that into 2. As you can see here, the lot 1 would remain, would keep the existing single-family home, be about 15,462 square feet. That will change due to some, as was noted in the staff report, because the 17.144.090 requires the lot frontage or the lot width is required to be 90 feet. And when I had measured this out, it was approximately 86. So as a condition of approval, we are asking that they do move this property line over approximately 4 feet. Access to both properties is provided on Winchester Street. Nothing is proposed to change there. And lastly, I am requiring that this existing shed be removed because we do not allow for accessory structures to be on a lot without there being a main structure. And because all that's going to be there is a cell tower and its associated peripheral items, there is no building there. So with a couple of photos of the site here, this is along Winchester. This is the single family home on your left. You can see the the cell tower here on your right with a bus stop with a shelter. That's actually really nice. That's rare to see. And then this is on I took this picture on the other side of Winchester, kind of looking towards the single family home. As you can see, kind of on the right hand side of the image, you can see the shed that I'm saying that needs to be removed. Either moved wholly on to, I guess I should still, doesn't matter, needs to be removed. All right, with that, staff is recommending approval subject to the 5 conditions that are on the screen in front of you. Any questions I can answer?
All right. Thank you,
I
Zach.
just do that all on mute?
Very, very nice presentation. Very, very explanatory. Is the applicant with us this evening?
Yeah. Yes, this is Ken Bell.
Okay, Mr. Bell, could I ask you to give your full name and address just for the record, please?
Yes, this is Kenneth Eugene Bell. My address is 2893 East County Road, Salt Lake City 84121.
Okay.
I believe my partner might be on too, but I'm not sure.
That's you'll do just fine. Is there anything additional that you would like to add other than what has been presented this evening by staff?
Well, I think it's relatively clear. We actually have 2 uses for the property right now. The home was built, I believe, in the 1950s. And so it was kind of an existing use. And when we bought the property, we actually got the zoning changed to the commercial zone. So when we bought it, it was a residential zone. And that's why the home, I guess, is there. Cell tower was also there when we bought it. So we have 2 different uses. And those uses won't change. We don't really have a plan to develop that into anything else. So we're just asking that they be divided so that maybe sometime in the future we can use the space for the home for something else and then just keep the cell tower as it is. We have a long-term lease with Verizon for the cell tower, and the property line that we indicated on the survey actually matches our leased ground to Verizon. And so I guess the only thing I might request is that perhaps that bus stop, we actually have from where we have the line on the survey dividing the property, from the very far west corner to that line on our existing survey is about 99.8 feet. There's the bus stop that UTA owns, but I don't know, well, I was just hoping that perhaps that wouldn't count against our requirement for the 90 feet. I'm not sure that that's a legal subdivision or whatever, there, but it doesn't really affect people driving, or I'm not sure whether that's even possible, but we would sort of request that perhaps that not be counted against that requirement. And we do have almost 100 feet with that lot if that's not counted. And there is access to the lot itself that it won't change either. It's adjacent to it's on the west side of the bus stop. So I think that would be our only comment there. We won't be changing use. And if we could count all of that footage, I think we'd be delighted. So
and I think that would be an administrative function that you can talk with staff about, and I don't think it would require any formal change to any of our conditions associated with this. So as long as you are able to meet the 5 conditions that we have had presented this evening, then that's the main thing we need to hear.
Okay. I think other than that one request, everything else we're very happy to do.
Okay, I'm sure staff will be willing to work with you on that.
Okay.
All right. Any questions for the applicant from the commission? Okay, seeing none, I will open this agenda item up for public comment. Susan, did we have any ahead of the meeting submitted? You're muted, Susan.
No, We have not.
Okay. All right. We'll give it just a bit of time here, and just to make sure we satisfy our requirements, and then we can bring it back up. All right. Susan, any activity at all?
None.
All right. I will close the public comment portion of this agenda item and bring it back up to the commission for any additional discussion, or I'll entertain a motion if you desire.
Mr. Chair, I'll make a motion that the Planning Commission approve the requested Winchester Corner subdivision for the property address 20 East Winchester Street, subject to conditions 1 through 5.
Thank you, Sue.
I'll second that motion.
Thank you, Lisa. I have a motion by Sue Wilson and a second by Lisa Milkevich that the Planning Commission approve the requested Winchester Corner subdivision for the property addressed 20 East Winchester Street, subject to the following conditions, 1 through 5, as presented to us this evening. Call for a vote, please.
Commissioner Wilson,
Yes.
Commissioner Milkevich,
Yes.
Commissioner Patterson,
Yes.
Commissioner Ney,
Yes.
and Chairman Markham.
Yes. The application is approved, and good luck with your business, with your property moving forward, sir.
Thank you very much. I appreciate your help. Thank you.
Thank you. Well, that's the end of our agenda items for this evening. Staff, is there any news or information we need to discuss or know of tonight?
Not tonight specifically. We do have we have items for both meetings in October. The only thing that I know I'm a worrywart, but we do have UEA, although it feels like the world's crashing down all the time, so it doesn't really seem like UEA is going to come up. But one of our planning commission meetings is the Thursday that begins UEA weekend typically. So
Lisa is adamantly telling you to no, it's not. So
it's not. It's not.
Granite canceled UEA. I think most districts have. So I don't think it's as big of a worry as it has been in the past.
Probably not. People are canceling fun everywhere.
Okay, well, it's the deer hunt then. Let's worry about that.
There we go.
Right?
Okay.
We do have items for both meetings in October already scheduled, and October is National Planning Month. So there you go.
All right.
Thought you ought to know that. And we have fun items scheduled for October too. Just so be aware.
Moving forward into November, I'm hoping there may be a conflict on one Thursday evening that I might have a football. Well, no, that's right. I wouldn't be able to go to it, would I, Travis? I'd still rather stay home and watch it than be there. Here.
Hope springs eternal.
Yes, it does.
They're killing me not having football.
Yeah. It's
I do feel bad for y'all.
Oh, I'm sure you do.
I do. That's all we have, though. Really, we have a couple items in October that are funner for planning, and that's about all I have to tell you.
All right. Well, I'll call for a motion to dismiss.
Motion
Hold on,
to
before
dismiss.
we do a motion.
Oh,
I have to ask a question because I've noticed it time and time again. Marin, can you explain to us what's happening on your wall behind you?
It's just.
I look at a lot of site plans. It looks like a site plan. I'm just that's being
It's her sticky
geeky.
notes. It's her to-do sticky notes for the week.
Is it all your to-dos? You're behind.
It's a beehive. I can tell.
Nope, it's just decorated dots. I don't know.
It looks like street patterns and street trees. You can see like different lines and. Sorry,
it's a Rorschach test, so you can see whatever you want.
Interpret whatever.
Great, and I saw work.
I didn't get.
Great,
All
nice.
right. I have a motion to adjourn on the table. We are adjourned.
Bye, everybody.
Ciao,
Thank you.
everyone.
Good night.
Take care.